Good afternoon, and welcome to commencement for the class of 2022. As we move into our invocation, I want to acknowledge that I stand before you as a Christian chaplain, but I know that we come from many worldviews and many traditions. And I invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer as your faith tradition would indicate. And if you claim no tradition as your own, then I invite you to join me in a moment of reflection. Will you join me now? As we enter this moment of change, both an ending and a beginning, as we say goodbye to the community we have long called home, as we step boldly, with gratitude, into the as of yet unknown, as we stand in the change of this moment, both a beginning and an ending, as we stand in the challenges of these years, may we know that we can overcome. As we stand in the victories of this place, may we celebrate the value of what we have learned. As we look beyond Owu, may we commit to stand in the places where justice and goodness yet need us. As you exit this moment and step towards the home that lies beyond, may you hold the world's complexity that you found in this place, the importance of difficult questions and hard truths. May you walk always with friends upon the road. And may you find joy as you travel ever onward along the path of endless becoming. Amen.
You may be seated. Good afternoon. Let's try it again. Good afternoon. The sun is just almost ready to pop through, making this an even more glorious day. Members of the faculty, the staff, the Board of Trustees, Dr. Acton, distinguished guests, family and friends, and most of all, the graduating class of 2022. Welcome to these commencement exercises. We are honored by your presence, and we are thrilled to celebrate the accomplishments of this class. Graduates, this is your day. Almost 4 years ago, most of us gathered right here in front of Merrick Hall, surrounded by these historic buildings, and together we imagined what your 4 years of college might be like. But none of us, not one of us, imagined that more than half of your college experience would be in the grips of a pandemic. But in the spring of your sophomore year, the campus closed and you went home. But you did not stop. And here we are, right on time, on schedule, celebrating your graduation. In recent weeks, I've had the opportunity to visit with many of you about your time on campus. And the stories I have heard have been less about loss than about accomplishment. Accomplishment driven by determination against the odds, resilience in the face of challenge, and a relentless optimism in a world that too often seeks to rob us of hope. You showed us another way. And as a result, we are here today celebrating your graduation. But also as a result, we are here today and we can see the impact of the legacy that you leave on this campus. We are a better place because you have been here. More than half of you completed an internship through the Career Connection. You've shown us the importance of practical learning in the liberal arts education. You were the first class to have 4 years of the Delaware Entrepreneurial Center, and some of you started businesses that you located in the deck. You gave new life to Horizons International. You brought Culture Fest back to campus. You gave energy to historic organizations that are far stronger now than when they were when you arrived. Black Men for the Future, Sisters United, Rafiki, Black Student Union. You restored the Greek season of service. You facilitated deep conversations among students with topics such as Let's Talk about social justice. You created Trick or Treat for Bishops, an amazing evening with dozens of student organizations welcoming the families and children of Delaware to our campus. You brought Chi-Fi to a house on campus for the first time in its history. And you reconstituted Phi Delta Theta as a chapter on this campus. Members of your class are the first to complete 4 years of competition in men's wrestling in nearly 50 years. You provided inspiration and leadership for a new commitment to our service to first-generation students. You were the first class to participate in the Summer Bridge program. You challenged our campus to acknowledge the places where we do not live up to our values and our aspirations. And you became partners in creating a better tomorrow for OWU, and I know as graduates you will continue to do that. But most importantly, you showed us how to be flexible and adapt to circumstances we had not imagined. With the support of the faculty and the staff, you completed your coursework. You engaged in meaningful and groundbreaking research. You discovered and pursued new intellectual passions, and you prepared yourselves for lives that will be rich in meaning, deep in purpose, and profound in impact on our world. Even in a pandemic, you have fulfilled our highest aspirations for an education at OWU. Dr. Andy Anderson was a longtime member of the faculty at Ohio Wesleyan who taught philosophy. Recently, a member of our Board of Trustees, Kara Trott, shared with me a letter that Dr. Anderson wrote to one of his former students after she returned for a reunion, as we hope you will. He wrote, "University students are among the truly privileged of the earth. Nobody else has what they have. A 4-year block of time to explore themselves by exploring everything that there is to be explored, to find out what their interests are, what they are good at, and to find out what they aren't interested in or not good at. 4 long years in which the only thing they are asked to do is to create themselves. The only thing they are asked to do is to create themselves." Maybe you remember the questions that we asked 4 years ago. What do you care about? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? Now, perhaps as you reflect on those questions, you can see how your time here has allowed you to create yourself. And as you look ahead with a lifetime of opportunity in front of you, you are more than ready, and we are more than eager to watch, as we are fully confident that you, the people who we have watched create yourselves before our very eyes, will make an enormous impact on the world that awaits. Congratulations, graduates. You have made this truly a great day to be a bishop. We are honored today to be joined by a member of our Board of Trustees, Aaron Granger, who graduated from Ohio Wesleyan in 1993. Aaron was active on campus. He ran track and cross country. He had a double major, politics and government and religion. He was a resident assistant. He was president of the student body. When he graduated, he went to law school at The Ohio State University. He worked for the city of Columbus and Franklin County and has spent the bulk of his career in corporate law, currently serving as the chief counsel for American Freightways. Aaron continues to be active in service of his alma mater. He's been on the Board of Trustees almost as long as I have been at Ohio Wesleyan. In addition to his service on the board, he led the committee that explored and ultimately planned the new Butler Jones House of Black Culture. He's worked with our students as a multicultural student affairs student mentor. He is a career connection volunteer. He is a face that is very familiar to this campus. And I am honored to introduce to you a member of our Board of Trustees and a true moral leader, for our global society, Aaron Granger.
Thank you, President Jones. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I am pleased to extend congratulations to the Ohio Wesleyan University Class of 2022, and to welcome your family and friends gathered here to celebrate with you. The Board of Trustees includes more than 40 members, almost all of whom are alum and once sat where you sit today. We all care deeply about Ohio Wesleyan and take great pride in the accomplishments of its students and faculty. Nothing gives us greater satisfaction than knowing that Ohio Wesleyan has helped you grow in intellect and in empathy. The trustees join me in saluting you for your accomplishments in the classroom, your leadership across campus, your service in the community, and your commitment to make this world a better place. I am honored to share this commencement with you. Some of you may be wondering in this moment of reflection, has Ohio Wesleyan prepared me for what's next? Am I ready for the inevitable challenges I'll face? I wondered the same thing. In my first year of law school, I received the answer in my second week of property class. My professor used the Socratic method of instruction, which included making you stand up in the middle of class to answer his questions. In the row to my right was a person who graduated from Yale, and to their right, someone who had graduated from Stanford. And to their right, on the end of our row, was somebody who graduated from Harvard. The professor started on the end of our row and asked Mr. Harvard to answer the question. Mr. Harvard was eloquent and spoke with the confidence of a seasoned litigator. "No," the professor said, "sit down." Then he called on Miss Stanford to answer the query, and she was equally as eloquent. "No," the professor said, "sit down." Then he called on Mr. Yale. Now at this point, I'm really rooting for Mr. Yale to get this right. "No," the professor said, "sit down." Then he said, "Mr. Ohio Wesleyan, what's the answer?" I stood up. I put together what I thought was a fairly reasoned response. I'm certain I was not as violently confident as my classmates, but nonetheless, I stated the answer in a matter-of-fact way. And the professor looked at me in a curious pause and said, "Mr. Ohio Wesleyan, will you repeat that answer for the rest of the class?" And that's when I knew that Ohio Wesleyan's education prepared me to compete in the global marketplace. And now you have that same Ohio Wesleyan strength. It is now my pleasure to join Provost Carlin Crawley for the presentation of awards to outstanding faculty members of Ohio Wesleyan University for 2022.
Hello. I'm delighted to say that the education that Aaron Granger spoke about, the Ohio Wesleyan strength, comes from what you received these 4 years and the faculty who taught you. Ohio Wesleyan is a college that changes lives college, from the famous Lauren Pope book. But what does that actually mean? It means that the faculty that you had did not just teach you, they changed your life. Faculty have guided you, have challenged you, have cared for you, have mentored you, have cherished you. This kind of dedication and mentoring is the hallmark of Ohio Wesleyan. And it doesn't just end today, it continues. It continues because we follow you the rest of your life. Wherever you are, whatever you do, we are here rooting for you. We will always welcome you back. We are always in your corner. Thus, it is my great privilege to share with you some of the faculty being honored this year, whether for teaching, scholarship, or their years of service upon retirement. Our first award is the Sherwood Dodge Shanklin Award for Encouragement of Teachers. This award was established and endowed in 1963 by the late William H. and Frances Shanklin Ryan of Sacramento, California, to identify, encourage, and honor Ohio Wesleyan faculty members with high potential as teachers. This recipient is chosen by the Faculty Personnel Committee upon recommendation by the faculty, staff, and students. I am happy to announce that the winner of the 2022 Sherwood Dodge Shanklin Award is Dr. Francesca Nestor. Assistant Professor of Politics and Government, Dr. Nestor, please join me at the podium. Since joining Ohio Wesleyan in 2017, Francesca Nestor has excelled as an inspiring educator and role model. Combining empathy and rigor, her approach invigorates critical thinking and productive discussion, and she challenges and motivates students to achieve great things. Her classes guide students to connect theory with real-life situations, and she has led initiatives to modernize and increase voter registration on our campus. In 2021, she was awarded Exemplary Teacher of the Year from the United Methodist General Board of Higher Education and Ministry, Division of Higher Education. I am delighted to present the 2022 Sherwood Dodge Shanklin Award to Dr. Francesca Nestor. Next, we will present the 2022 Bishop Herbert Welch Meritorious Teaching Award, which was established in 1962 by the New York Alumni Association to recognize outstanding Ohio Wesleyan faculty. Recipients are selected by the Faculty Personnel Committee based on distinguished service that has made a significant contribution to the academic climate at Ohio Wesleyan. I am honored to announce that the winner of the 2022 Welch Award for Teaching is Christina Bogdanoff, Associate Professor of Fine Arts. In Christina Bogdanoff's own words, quote, "To be an artist is to be curious, tenacious, and questioning. Love the art within yourself. Don't love yourself within art." As an artist, she creates captivating works in ceramics, sculpture, pottery, and photolithography on clay. She has exhibited nationally and internationally. As a teacher, Professor Bogdanoff inspires and empowers students, and she guides them to find answers meaningful to them and discover and love the art within themselves. She joined OWU in 2007 and currently serves as the chair for the Department of Fine Arts. It is my great honor to present this award to Christina Bogdanoff. Next, we will honor the recipient of the Bishop Herbert Welch Award for Scholarly or Artistic Achievement. The Welch Award is given for distinguished scholarship or artistic achievement. It may be given in recognition of a faculty member's distinguished body of work or for an individual accomplishment. It is my pleasure to call to the podium the 2022 recipient of the Welch Award for Scholarly or Artistic Achievement, Dr. Michael Flam, Professor of History. Michael Flam is a remarkably accomplished scholar who is passionate about our need to understand history and about helping students discover their own love for modern U.S. history. Students simply say that his classes are fantastic. Since coming to OWU in 1998, Dr. Flam has authored or co-authored 5 well-reviewed books, including In the Heat of the Summer, a compelling and important book about the New York riots of 1964. And for Audible's Great Courses series, he created a 10-part program on how 1954 changed history. A leading scholar in his field, Dr. Flam has served as a consultant to the National Endowment for the Humanities and the National Academy of Sciences. I am pleased to present this award to Dr. Michael Flam. Congrats. Hang on one second, we need one more. Too soon. Congrats. Next, we will honor the recipient of the Libius L. Reed Endowed Professorship. The endowed chair, named for Distinguished Professor Emerita Libius L. Reed, and funded by alumni who loved and admired her, recognizes a professor who exemplifies the Libby Reed teaching values: academic rigor, empathy for students, and the ability to encourage them to integrate all areas of knowledge to enrich their lives. A committee of students and faculty members selects the recipient. It is my pleasure to call to the podium the 2022 recipient of the Reed Endowed Professorship, Dr. Bradley Trees, Professor of Physics and Astronomy. Brad Trees returned to OWU, his alma mater, in 1997, bringing an innovative approach and a keen interest in the success of his students. In his physics courses, his students describe him as enthusiastic and dedicated. He prompts students of science, technology, and math, and non-STEM backgrounds to fall in love with physics. Dr. Trees also frequently helps secure National Science Foundation funding for students to participate in valuable summer research experiences for undergraduates, providing mentored research opportunities for OWU students as well as students from across the nation. I am delighted to present this honor to Dr. Bradley Trees.
The Adam Poe Medal was established in 1953 and is named for the pastor of William Street Methodist Episcopal Church, who raised the funds to found Ohio Wesleyan University in 1842. The Poe Medal is presented to Ohio Wesleyan faculty members and administrators who have served a minimum of 15 years in recognition of their long and valued service to the university at the time of their retirement. A biography of this year's recipient is included in your program. He served not 15 years, but 46 years. Provost Crowley, would you please present Dr. Bob Gitter for the Adam Poe Medal? Now it is my great honor to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker who will share words of wisdom, advice, and inspiration with our graduates. As we return to this beautiful setting on Merrick lawn for the first time since 2019 with a class that has withstood a global pandemic for more than 2 years, it is especially fitting that we have with us Dr. Amy Acton. In all of my years of announcing commencement speakers to our graduates, never have the graduates been as excited as they were when they learned that they would be joined at their commencement by Dr. Acton. They remember her, and they remember her care in the early days of the pandemic. At a time of confusion, fear, and profound uncertainty, she was a stable, kind, caring, and rational expert force. Throughout the early weeks and months of the pandemic, we trusted her authority because of her knowledge. Yet more importantly, we valued her advice because of her empathy. She was looking out for all of us. Perhaps her empathy springs from her early life, which had its difficulties. Her expertise is the product of years of education, training, and research in medicine and public health. She's been a role model for our students and for many, and I would be among those. She is considered a hero. Her work to promote public health and conservation in Ohio is now beginning an exciting new chapter, as earlier this week she was named president of Rapid 5, a nonprofit group overseeing efforts to connect all of Franklin County via parks and trails and waterways in support of public health. We as a university community are so deeply honored to have Dr. Acton with us here today that our faculty and board of trustees have taken the action to bestow upon her Ohio Wesleyan's greatest distinction, an honorary degree. The citation that has been written covers so much of what she has accomplished, but I don't want to take her time by reading the entire citation. I'll read just a portion. Amy Acton, esteemed public health expert, respected physician, accomplished researcher, and tireless health advocate, experienced fundraiser and top-rated educator, the first woman director of the Ohio Department of Health. Your exemplary leadership and expert scientific knowledge have contributed to the betterment of the world, and your genuine care for the health of all is noble and deserving of recognition. You earned global recognition as the top health advisor to Governor Mike DeWine during the pandemic. Your strong, science-based leadership was an inspiration and a source of comfort, particularly during the early stages of the pandemic when so little was known and the rest of us were making it up. But the one place we could turn for support and information was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when we heard from Dr. Acton. Your courageous leadership resulted in you receiving a 2021 Profile and Courage Award from the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation, and you were named the 2022 USA Today Women of the Year honoree for the state of Ohio. So it is in recognition of your resolute and compassionate contributions to public health and wellness, your moral and innovative solutions to critical issues, your commitment to kindness and empathy, and your extraordinary leadership in a time of crisis, that by the authority invested in me by the Ohio Wesleyan University Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the honorary degree Doctor of Science, with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereto, and cause you to be hooded and presented with a diploma. Dr. Acton.
Hello, everyone. It is so good to see you. Thank you so much, President Jones, Melissa, to all the faculty and the staff who have made me feel so incredibly welcome here. It's not good to start your address crying, but I'm just so moved. And if you're not from Ohio, I'm sorry if I do a few insider jokes in this, but if you are from Ohio, you know that I've been talking to you, alone in a room through a small, we've had worse crises, in a small lens of a camera, but on the other side of that camera was all of us. And I felt you there. And to see us all here together today, none of us takes this for granted. We will never take this for granted again. So I want to tell you a few behind-the-scenes stories, if I could, and a few lessons on leadership that I've learned through going through this. But I want to say to the young people here, this is not an ordinary moment, and truth be told, you are not an ordinary generation, because we've never before had the entire world go through the same thing at the same time in quite this way, and you are part of that. I often think of you, old, sitting back, telling those stories of the great pandemic of 20 to 22, because I'm going to end it this year. I imagined you as the greatest force for good in history. I've started to think of you as Generation C, and that is not for just COVID or chaos or all the challenges you have faced, but I think of it for all the things that I've heard today, for your courage, for your compassion, that you're collaborative, that you're change agents. So I want to talk today about finding your own compass. I can tell you I had to rely on a compass that I've built my entire life. You have started it here, but I've honed it, and it really, really served me well. So to begin with, if you are in Ohio, you probably heard the phrase, "not all heroes wear capes." Early on in March, I was approached by Ryan Vessler, the owner of Homage, a really awesome t-shirt and apparel company, and he said to me that I was trending. And that was sort of lost on me. I have 55,000 Twitter followers, but I have never once tweeted. But, he said he wanted to do a Dr. Amy t-shirt, and I said, I don't think that's going to work because you're going to know me for about a month or two. But before this pandemic is over, there are going to be so many heroes. It is like a baton passing off, and that is so true. I remember talking to the university presidents who then became heroes, to the nurses, the frontline workers, to every school board member, to every teacher, to every one of us. Any leader faced what the governor and I faced. It's weird how life can just evoke your character when you least expect it. And there isn't any one of us here who has not been challenged or touched. But I have to say, I'm a very ordinary person who found herself in an extraordinary moment in history. I never imagined myself there, but I did have this compass. It began for me with studying Joseph Campbell. He was someone I discovered about your age who had studied all world religions and mythologies, and I actually mentioned him during the press conferences. He realized in looking at all of this history that there seemed to be a theme of a life well lived, and he thought that all of us have to embark on a hero's journey of one sort or another in our lives, not always on camera, and in fact, many of the maybe most courageous things I've done were not on camera. But he believed that every one of us has to grab a compass or a map of some sort, and we have to go into that dark forest at some point or another, face our worst fears, maybe get to slay a dragon or two, and if we're lucky and we make it out, we bring the gold back to our society. I believe every one of us, he inspired George Lucas to do Star Wars. I just believe every one of us has that story in us. So I'm going to share with you a few tips of how I developed my compass. First of all, I have 3 concepts to share with you. We had the New York Times do a video op-ed in May of 2020. They watched 7 weeks of our press conferences together, and they said there were themes that emerged, and I'd like to say they were intentional, but to be honest, I was just being me. But the things we used together and the space we found together were brutal honesty, vulnerability, and courage, and then empowerment, a call to action. So brutal honesty. I happen to be a person who just likes to throw the cards on the table. Maybe it's part of my childhood, but I've always felt that if we just lay it all out there and bring as many people as we can around that table, we'll be able to solve it. And that's what we did in the beginning of the pandemic. Now, we know truth was a little bit hard to find. At one point, even though I'm a global health physician, I was Googling the word pandemic because I couldn't understand why no one was calling it that. So make no mistake, you are on this journey, and I'm going to share a very brutal truth with you. You are going to be asking the questions, the create yourself questions of who am I, why am I here, what is my purpose, how do I find what I love, and what do I give back to the world? And you will be asking those, as I've seen patients, to the very last moments of their lives. It is a journey, and the brutal truth is you are going to think you are lost. Life up to now can feel kind of linear, like you follow a certain path, and then it becomes pluripotential. There's so many choices in so many directions. And I want to tell you this, think you get lost, you feel you're lost, but there is nothing wrong with you. You have not messed up your life. And I met so many students in office hours who were so afraid that they might mess it up. But the truth is, your life's gonna be like a mini pandemic. It's unpredictable. It's just true, right? You know it here because you're out there, you're still asking the same questions, right? You are going to have the rug pulled out from you when you least expect it. And the way will not feel clear, but don't panic. Don't resist what life brings you. This is where you hone your compass. The compass is something that's hardwired in all of us. I believe it so deeply now. You have your thinking self, but there's also your feeling self, and then there's just that gut, something you were born with that just knows what your right life is for you. And you hone it with each of your adventures and choices. It's the well of your being. That's where well-being comes from. It's your heart and soul. And life is like a breadcrumb path of clues. You go clue to clue to clue. You make a choice. And it's super good when the choice goes well and you feel good and time falls away and you're in your zone. You definitely want to notice that. But more importantly, notice when it doesn't go well. It's right in the middle of those times where you're suffering the most that there is the next greatest clue for what is best for you. I trained my leadership team at ODH to do this. It has never failed me if I sit with it long enough, and it's hard because it's uncomfortable. Inevitably, right in the middle of every crisis in your life is the pearl of the next thing. So I want you, we all wish life was free of suffering, but Nietzsche said suffering is essential to your soul. And people talk about your generation like that is somehow damaging you, but you don't get the joy and love without the suffering. So stay with it. That's when the magic happens. And I will tell you, for me during the pandemic at home, there was a moment I woke up and everything that had ever happened in my life, good or bad, all of a sudden was exactly what I needed. There was a moment and I felt it. So secondly, vulnerability. Please have the courage to be yourself and use your unique gifts to serve others. And courage does not mean there's no fear. I famously said, I'm not afraid, I'm determined on the day of the stay-at-home order. Honestly, it's not that I didn't sometimes feel fear, but courage is just that will to keep going, that Winston Churchill, when you're going through hell, keep going. And that phrase was actually something like many of the things I said that were completely unscripted, which is so rare that a governor would let that happen. That was something my husband said to me that day. a high school teacher and coach, walking out the door. You're not afraid, you're determined. And that's what happened there. You know, it was like a humanitarian crisis of a scale and scope and duration, and nobody was entirely ready for it. It was a lot like a 9/11 moment when 4 days after that, we all didn't know a stranger in the world. And in Ohio, I swear there were 4 to 6 weeks where everyone in Ohio was trying to do the right thing and help one another. And I hope you felt it the way I saw it. A lot of people talk about, you know, the hate and the vitriol that I endured and so many others have since. And I don't want to make little of it. It was real. It was dangerous. But the story I want you to know is there was so much more love. There was so much more love. Literally, my only wish was that Ohioans would pull each other up on that life raft, because there are no amount of orders, there are no amount of mandates that would ever, ever, ever flatten the curve. But in Ohio, we did, because of what Ohioans did, what you did. And that is just the truth. And you know what? Our mailrooms started to fill up, these giant mailrooms for the governor and me, and you could not walk in them for what Ohioans sent. They made art, they made meaning out of things. There was 90-year-old Bonnie Bowen who would do a watercolor every day of the pandemic. And literally 300 and some days into it, she got COVID. And she got hundreds of thousands of prayer messages from all over. And you can't tell me that didn't help her get through it. People did things, like I said, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon spread, and their giant bacon statue appeared in a corporate park in Cincinnati. A mom and her kid made signs that said, "Act on love, not hate." And so that became Ohio's mantras. Don your cape, don your mask, act on love, not hate, act on kindness, not fear. Because there is a contagion worse than the virus. And as we've all seen, it is fear. It was the ambiguity we all had to tolerate. It was the unknown. So kindness is an antidote, an age-old enduring. It's not niceness where you just say nice things and run behind someone's back. Kindness is fierce. Do not mistake it for weakness. It is honoring the humanity in one another. And that's what I witnessed Ohioans do in a profound way. If enough of us do the right thing, most of the time, all of us will get through. And that is herd immunity for science buffs here, and that is what we need to do going forward. Finally, empowerment. You know, I tried every press conference to have a little call to action, just something I could think of that we could do for one another. And as MLK says, an individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the concerns of broader humanity. There are moments you will face in your life, big ones and little, where you just can't unsee, where you just have to look it in the eye. It's a moment for higher angels, as I said to the President's Chief of Staff the last week of February, when the stock market crashed for the second time, and then the governor and I came out and made the promise, we will tell you the truth as we know it. People are so hungry for trustworthiness and decency. And I need you, Generation C, to don those capes. It is your time. It is your generation's time. And make no doubt about it, we are at an inflection point. We can't afford to grow complacent and in our joy of reemerging, leave the work undone. We are yet in another stage of this pandemic. It's a different stage, but this is maybe one of the hardest because no one's narrating it for us. This is a stage that requires each of us to realize that we are all emerging differently, and it takes tremendous mercy and grace with one another. It takes, once again, in all of the partisanship we see, reaching out to one another and pulling us up onto our common ground. I want you to get in some good John Lewis good trouble. I want you to create the conditions in which all of us can lead flourishing lives. So, COVID, Generation C, you are so much more than that chaos. Please lead with courage and compassion. You are co-creators of community. You are ready for the hard conversations and the fights. Our next task is to mourn and memorialize and make meaning. I believe you are uniquely positioned to make meaning out of all we have endured and live lives of purpose and lives that matter deeply. I just think you will walk the journey, you will do your hero's journey a little bit differently. In the words of fellow Gen Zer, there is always light if only we are brave enough to see it and only we are brave enough to be it. You have already been so brave. It is my deepest honor to be here with you today. Just the deepest honor. Go forward well. Thank you. It was an honor to serve. Thank you. Honor to serve you.
Dr. Acton, thank you so much. We are so honored by your presence. We have been inspired by your leadership, and we are inspired by your words today. And I can say to you all, having had the opportunity to have multiple conversations with Dr. Acton over the last year or so, that I believe she would say she was as excited about being here as our seniors were about her being here. So thank you so very much. Now, as we recognize the achievements of the Ohio Wesleyan class of 2022, I call on Ms. Michelle Kibler, University Registrar, to present the candidates for degrees in course.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Fine Arts please rise? On behalf of the faculty and the Board of Trustees of the university, I have the honor to present these candidates as duly qualified to receive the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and under the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts with all the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. The names of individual candidates will be called as they come forward to receive their diplomas.
Jonathan David Bayer. Sarah Melissa Bunch, cum laude. Colin Alexander Heister, cum laude. Elizabeth Ann Bukami Boucher. Julia Eve Mostow, magna cum laude. Harley Addison Murphy.
Will the candidate for the Bachelor of Music please rise? Upon the recommendation of the faculty and the authority On behalf of the faculty and board of trustees of the university, I have the honor to present this candidate as duly qualified to receive the Bachelor of Music.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and under the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Music with all the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Abraham Isaac Sulin, cum laude.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science please rise? On behalf of the faculty and the Board of Trustees of the university, I have the honor to present these candidates as duly qualified to receive the degree of Bachelor of Science.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and under the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Science with all the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. The candidates will come forward.
Haris Ali, summa cum laude. Ulanbek Almazbekov. Lydia Marley Arnold, summa cum laude. Lauren Elizabeth Barnes, summa cum laude. Emma Elizabeth Blackburn, cum laude. Anthony Lee Carroll. Hunter Aaron Kuhn, cum laude. Davis Alexander Graham, summa cum laude. Sakshi Gupta. David Allen Jendrasic. Hein Lee. Hamza Malik. Mason Dale Martin, summa cum laude. Muhammad Anas Musani. Ava Marie Malloy, cum laude. Elizabeth Ann Norlander, magna cum laude. Benjamin Michael Pearl, cum laude. Spencer Christopher Queen, cum laude. Nadev Shaibe, summa cum laude. Bryce David Whitman, cum laude. Syed Muzaffar Yezdin.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts please rise? On behalf of the faculty and the Board of Trustees of the university, I have the honor to present these candidates as duly qualified to receive the Bachelor of Arts.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority invested in me by the Board of Trustees and under the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. The candidates will come forward.
Nisha Noella Ashang. Olivia Genevieve Atkins, cum laude. Chase Jackson Agan, magna cum laude. Emanuela Forowa Okamiya Sirleaf, magna cum laude. Owen Bruce Albers. Nicole Alvarado. Grayson Michael Logan Anderson. Olivia Maria Page Anderson. Kofi Agahima Nasa Tutu. William Francis Anton. Kimberly Elizabeth Armstrong. Dimitri Ashaki, summa cum laude. Daniel Baker. Katerina Rose Berry, magna cum laude. Destiny Marie Bartow. Randolph Barton IV. Hannah Marie Bachman, cum laude. Alyssa Avery Baker. Maxwell Maurice Beard, summa cum laude. Eleanor Elizabeth Bierce, magna cum laude. James Roger Bentley. Cooper Martin Berry. Bulbul Bhatti. Caitlin Brooke Bischoff, magna cum laude. Sydney Catherine Blaine, magna cum laude. Caleb Lewis Blake. Emma Jane Blankenship, cum laude. Eric Robert Blessman. Molly Elizabeth Block, cum laude. Luke Aaron Berner. Jessica Rose Bontatabas. Jacob Daniel Bosco. Faith Nicole Bramer, summa cum laude. Grant Joseph Brooks. Tatum Tyler Brown. Brooklyn Marie Buck. Isha Riman Bukhari. Joy Ibukin Boraima, cum laude. Dynasty Alexandria Burchett. Sophia Booter, cum laude. Jaden Byfield Ramirez. Lily Elizabeth Callender, summa cum laude. Regina Sue Campbell, cum laude. Nicholas Lawrence Thomas Kenesha, cum laude. Caitlin Marie Cantrell, cum laude. Ilun Hana Tso, summa cum laude. Nicholas Andrew Carlson. Shelby Lynn Carlson, cum laude. Brianna Nicole Carmack, cum laude. Patrick Carrier. Acadia Elise Carl, summa cum laude. Grant Guthrie Caton, summa cum laude. Braden Trey Chitty, cum laude. Amanda Michelle Saccone, magna cum laude. Haley Elizabeth Clark. Veronica Greco Cody, cum laude. Alan Ronald Douglas Cohn, cum laude. Joseph William Connor, magna cum laude. Trevor Crawford Cook. Sarah Elizabeth Cordell, in absentia. Alejandra Cornell Zagara. Abigail Rose Courtwright. Jennifer Clara Crumlish. William Griffith Culbertson. Israel S. Daly. John Douglas Damon Jr., magna cum laude. Molly Sarah Delaney, magna cum laude. Jacob McKee Delight, cum laude. Avery Elizabeth Detrick, magna cum laude.
Graham Randall Dick, cum laude. Julia Claire Dickman. Trey Antoine Dixon. Vin Thon Do. Jacob Scott Dodds. Ethan Patrick Douglas. Marquise Eugene Downing. Chloe Elise Dubinin. Anna Sophia Dussert, cum laude. Chase Cameron Dushek, cum laude. Megan Mary Edwards, summa cum laude. Ross Connor Eggleston, magna cum laude. Aaron Carl Icree, cum laude. Sam C. Esterly, in absentia. Elizabeth Darcy Evers, cum laude, in absentia. Carrington Monet Yule. Cassandra Micah Farber, magna cum laude. Anna Caroline Fender, summa cum laude. Taylor Ray Floyd, cum laude. Rachel Elizabeth Foster, magna cum laude. Pascal Andre Ferrer, cum laude. Isabella Claire Frank. Anna Marie Franco, magna cum laude. Mark Thomas Froley. Maria T. Gacoso. Alexander Orion Giluli. Hector Daniel Gomez. Ralph Marshall Good, cum laude. Cameron Brienne Green. Nina Renee Greer. Catherine Ann Grodehouse. Madison Elizabeth Grouthouse. Paige Marie Hale. Fiona Elizabeth Hanson, magna cum laude. Henry Joseph Hassenberg. Carter Stanley Haskell. Maxwell Stewart Haputa. William Scott Hefner. Lai Wong. No. Casey Danielle Holmes. Jenna Ann Hotchkiss, cum laude. Erin Michelle Huber, cum laude. Caden John Hubley, summa cum laude. Chloe Maria Hunt. Sana Hussein, cum laude. Caitlin Ann Hyatt. Finn Lee Jackson, magna cum laude. David William Jacks. Katie Q. Janice. Isabel Carmen Johnson, summa cum laude. Sierra Nicole Joyner, cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Jonason, magna cum laude. Brody Patrick Canale. Kylie Brooke Carrigan. Jacqueline Ann Kessler. Jahanazib Khan in Essentia. Levi Robert Killian, cum laude. Astrid Andrea Olivia Maria Cook. Michaela Marie Coister, cum laude. Rachel Christine Lance. Reed Lehman. Ashley Elizabeth Leonard, magna cum laude. Mohammed Laran. Jasmine Christine Benzler Liu, summa cum laude. Sheng Yu Li. Reese Chance Little. Hannah Littlefield. Colby Alexandria Lockwood. Hannah Hunter Laglacy. Hope Diane Lopez Aliaga. Cody Allen Lunder. Mackenzie Nicole McDonald. Nicholas Ryan Melinda, cum laude. Elizabeth Davis Mann, magna cum laude. Kellen Ryan Marshall, magna cum laude. Paige Nicole Martin, cum laude. Alex Nicole Mason, cum laude. Molly Elizabeth Mazabres. Zoe Catherine McClure. Ryan Patrick McElwee. Kylie Alicia McFarland, cum laude. Colin Patrick McGee. Taylor Elise McGee, summa cum laude. Connor Patrick McGeaney. Eleanor Rose McIntosh, in absentia. Matthew Shane McKnight. Lauren Alessandra McMillan. Wyatt Lynn McQueen, cum laude. Tess Mikkel Meddings, magna cum laude. Chloe Kazreen Merritt. Madison Rose Miller, cum laude. Mohammed Omir Mirza. Jason Joseph Moscow. Olivia Marie Moyler. Sydney Lee Mullet, magna cum laude. Lauren Ann Mussadin, cum laude.
Lucas Allen Nathanson, cum laude. Charles William Neal, magna cum laude. Madeline Marie Namath, magna cum laude. Millie Nguyen. Muhammad Khan Niazi. Walker Henry Nyland, cum laude. Judson David Nimrick. Belle Nicole Norman. Mackenzie Elizabeth O'Brien, cum laude. Jillian Elise O'Hara, summa cum laude. J. Forrest Ostrander, cum laude. Sandra DeLacy Otap, cum laude. Madison Mackenzie Parody, cum laude. Ankita Lakesh Patel. Chase Victoria Patton. Maxwell David Peckinpah. Erica Brianne Perkins. Gina Marie Perry. Katie Heejin Peterson. Justin Tyler Petty. Han Fan. Gabriel Michael Philhauer. Joshua Carl Plaster, magna cum laude. Alexander Scott Pope. Solara Nicole Prestalo. Zoe Elise Price, cum laude. Gavin Andrew Pulliam. Alan James Nelson Ratty. Ann Kendall Raspy, magna cum laude. Miles Hayward Raffle. Chase Civic Reinhardt, cum laude. Dalton James Rice, summa cum laude. Meredith Rose Richters, magna cum laude. Mason Andrew Rickard. Zane Allen Edward Rees, cum laude. Alexander Robert Reese, magna cum laude. Jayla Nicole Rodella. Samantha Rose Rodriguez. Daniel Richard Rodriguez Hijo. Max Walter Rotundo. Catherine Michelle Rosa, cum laude. Grace Marie Rudolph, cum laude. Luigi Giovanni Russo, summa cum laude. Kara Ann Rudkowski. Erica Lauren Sardina. Anna Eileen Renee Schill, cum laude. Matthias Carl Sandy Schweitzer. Ahmed Imran Sheikh. Megan Anne-Marie Sheridan, summa cum laude. Ellie Christine Shoemaker, summa cum laude. Julia Russell Shorey, summa cum laude. Tyler Eugene Schuster. Parker Harris Siegfried. Ruthie Isaacs Silberman, magna cum laude. Sydney Olivia Simpson, cum laude. Parampreet Singh. Jessica Taylor Slauson. Kira Anand Soar. Sierra Caitlin Spears, cum laude. Michaela Jean Spencer, cum laude. Colin A. Spranger. Lee McGilvery Stavar, magna cum laude. Ben Daniel Stein. Lucas Andrew Stetter, magna cum laude. Kenneth Streb, cum laude. Cody Daniel Straight. Calvin Graham Stull. Samavi Sultana. Raymond Tariq. Daisha Janelle Taylor, cum laude. Mary Elaine Thatch, cum laude. Henry Scott Takanen, magna cum laude. Dawson Lucas Tillman. Hannah Tomeba. Athena Marlene Vacaleras, cum laude. Ava Anastasia Valori. Princeton Lamont Vaughn, cum laude. Michael Joseph Verdugo. Samantha Ann Villasenor, summa cum laude. Garrett Thomas Voigt. Mackenzie Morgan Wade, cum laude. Vashon Walker, in absentia. Catherine Elizabeth Walter, summa cum laude. Brianna Louise Ward. Mallory May Watts, magna cum laude. Adrian Joan Wentling, summa cum laude. Donald David Whalen. Nebraska Lynn Hope White. Hannah Catherine Williams. Addison Claire Wills, magna cum laude. Isaiah Drake Withrow. Bradley Scott Wolford, cum laude. Joy Yarbrough. Imani Simone Young.
And that, my friends, is the 2022 class, the class of 2022. A few recognitions. Will all students graduating summa cum laude please rise? Will all students graduating magna cum laude please rise? And will all students graduating cum laude please rise? In addition, 3 of our graduates have completed their careers at Ohio Wesleyan with a grade point average of 4.0. Gwendolyn Tovis, who officially graduated in December, Lydia Arnold, and Davis Graham. Please stand. It is customary at Ohio Wesleyan that the senior class president or another class representative offer remarks and an expression of gratitude on behalf of their classmates. Selected by her class this year is now graduate of Ohio Wesleyan, Olivia Anderson. Olivia is a studio art major, concentrating in painting and ceramics. She completed a minor in theater. She's pursued her passion for the arts both on and off campus through her time at OWU. She was involved in many productions at the Chapelier Drama Center, both on stage and off. She worked at the Ross Art Museum for 2 years. She served as the Werner Gallery student art director, and she worked on student alumni connections in the Ohio Wesleyan University Student Alumni Association. This semester, she became the first student to serve in the Alcinelli internship at the Columbus Museum of Art, where she has been writing labels for artworks. Next up, Olivia will return to her hometown of Toledo to spend the summer working with the Arts Commission in Toledo, and she hopes to join the Toledo School for the Arts in the fall. It is my pleasure to introduce Ohio Wesleyan graduate, Olivia Anderson.
I might be graduating, but that doesn't mean I'm higher than 5 feet. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I can't explain how incredibly honored I am to stand before all of you here today. Your presence and support as our families, friends, and mentors mean more than you know. Today, I represent Ohio Wesleyan as something real and tangible, not carefully marketed, covered in flashy lights, or adorned with just surface-level promises of fun and opportunity. This university and its students comprise far more than what could ever be explained in a promotional brochure. There is no universal experience here. Each one of us has walked our own individual path down this campus. However, we do have two very special things in common: ambition and adaptability. We, of all classes, have endured the highest of highs and lowest of lows. Despite all the odds being against us, we have persevered. As you look upon the class of 2022, I urge you to see what I see: overworked students in classes, labs, studios, and rehearsals from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., who still grind through assignments as their self-care is put on the shelf. Young adults learning to cope with mental illness, their own mental illnesses, and still supporting friends who are struggling. Queer folks who withstand snide looks and torn down pride flags and still remain vocal about their identity. Students of color who still face harassment in the 21st century. International students who have gone so long without seeing their loved ones in person, yet still excel in their studies. Students who've watched their parents pass away and still show up to class. All this, and we still find the grit to keep going. I myself have struggled to muster the strength to eat lunch or brush my teeth amidst battling my own depression, anxiety, and trauma. To any graduating student who also needs to hear this, you are not too much nor too little. You are enough. You shine. We are the backbone, the supportive gears in this machine. Ohio Wesleyan is so strong because of the pieces of ourselves we've used to build the foundation. And in return, we're gifted a community of loving mentors, a lasting education, and a place in history. I invite you now to think of a professor, staff member, or student who has transformed you for the better. I urge you to express that gratitude. to thank those people who have made you who you are today. The most rewarding way to end my journey here is by lifting the curtain, reminding everyone of what we truly are, a collection of the most resilient people I have ever met, so willing to stand up even in the face of adversity, so vocal about reform even in the face of tradition and opposition, so motivated to keep going even in the face of exhaustion. I want to trigger a release. Give us all permission to let go and prioritize ourselves now. Only then will we be able to look back and see the immense growth, progress, and change we have made for this school, and most importantly, ourselves. There is one more skill we must add to our repertoire of ambition and adaptability, and that is grace. As difficult as college is, we're told at this age to dream big and shoot for the stars, when what we really need sometimes is to be gentle and take things slowly. We have already set our sights on greatness and achieved so much, including this milestone today. Each one of us has something to be proud of. I say embody it, own it. We still need to act with grace, of course, but now is not the time to be modest about our accomplishments. We, of all people, have the potential to act on what we know we deserve. I leave you with this. We've all dealt with our own challenges in the past few years, but we mustn't wallow in them. Acknowledge those hardships, accept them as a part of your journey, and move forward. Not with guilt, haste, or judgment, but with grace. As an artist, I've learned to work with my mistakes in this manner. Sure, it may seem easier to start over when you slip up. However, I've found that the best artwork embraces those defects. Embody it, own it. I encourage you to step back from today, give yourself credit, and take a break. We've earned it, after all. And when you are ready, take all you have learned here and move on to your next journey. The world waits for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. I would invite all of us to just let her words soak in. Thank you for your powerful and eloquent reflections. I'm reminded by the power of Olivia's words that our Alumni Association is stronger than it was 2 hours ago. And in fact, I would say it is a great deal stronger. Olivia, thank you. As we prepare to conclude our time, I invite you to receive this benediction. Graduates, if here at Ohio Wesleyan you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have found peace, go and share it with others. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have found some portion of truth, go and seek it all the more. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have dreamed dreams, help one another and those dreams may come true. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. May you, the Ohio Wesleyan University graduates of 2022, be as proud of yourselves and your accomplishments as we are of you. And now I invite our newest graduates, our newest alumni, as well as all of you to stand and join your graduate, Hunter Kuhn, and the entire Ohio Wesleyan family in singing the alma mater.
Ohio Wesleyan, sweetly and strong, rise is our hymn of praise for thee alone. Heaven re-echoes it, loud let it ring. Ohio Wesleyan, loyal hearts sing. Ohio Wesleyan, proud is thy crown. Rarest of laurels ere victory has known, noblest achievements have hallowed thy name. Ohio Wesleyan, deathless thy fame.
As the ceremony comes to a close, I would ask the audience to remain at their seats until the platform and the faculty have left, and the graduates and family members are free to unite. Graduates, you will remember that when we gathered here, for most of you, 4 years ago, and you began your journey at Ohio Wesleyan, we opened your time by the ringing of this historic bell. This bell was gifted to Ohio Wesleyan first when the university was founded in 1842. It left the campus for a bit of time and then was returned. And for most of the history of the university, this bell has signified the opening and the closing of an academic year. It no longer rings, but it will clank. And with the clank, I officially declare the 2021-2022 academic year at Ohio Wesleyan closed.